Welcome everyone. This is Divine Dialogues, Intuitives Unveiled. I am Tracy Bango from Angels on the Prairie.
And I'm Rhonda Sean with Divine Guidance with Rhonda. And we're members of the Angel Empowerment Wellness Center. In our podcast, we're going to be delving into topics such as intuition, angelic connections, and the spiritual realm.
We're also going to talk about our own personal experiences to help you understand your own intuitive abilities. Thanks for joining us.
And let's begin. So, welcome to Divine Dialogues, our premiere episode. In this episode today, we're going to be talking about our journeys and how we work with the divine. And I'll let Tracy begin with her story.
Hi everyone. I am Tracy Bango. You know, my story probably is different from a lot of people because I didn't understand all about the divine. Yes, I will say I went to church. Church was a big part of my life growing up, and even a big part when I had kids. Until they left home, we went to church. So I did have a belief system, but I just trusted that they had me. So, you know, I was always one that just trusted that I would be okay. You know, it was funny. Like, you know, growing up, most people really had no cares or concerns when you're children. I mean, I had when I was 7, and that's many years ago. So I had open heart surgery, and back then that was a big deal. And I mean, as a child, you probably didn't really think about it. You know, you just trusted that you would be okay. You didn't go into worry mode. But I trusted that I would be okay, and I was. And then throughout my years, I'd do silly things because I knew it'd be okay. It'd be like, when I got my license, that was back then the biggest thing to get was your driver's license. And I was lucky enough that I would have a vehicle. And actually back then it was a hot car. I don't know why Mom bought a hot car, but she did. So anyway, so I was lucky enough to be able to drive it. So everybody came with me, and I'd do stupid things. Back then, 6 o'clock, gas stations were closed. The closest one was almost an hour away to get gas. And one night we were almost out of gas. It was in the way in the little red line. And I went, we'll drive that hour and go get fuel. And you know what? If I go, 80 or 70 or whatever miles an hour, or 120 or whatever kilometers, I'll get there faster, so then I can get fuel, not realizing you use more fuel when you go faster. Anyways, I knew I'd get there. And everybody's saying, no, we're not going to make it. You're empty. Well, we made it. So I trusted we'd make it. I mean, it was just silly little things like that, that worked. And then when I was 18, my mom passed. And actually, I remember distinctly, I can see the clock. It was 6:08 a.m. We got a phone call saying our mom is transitioning. Do you want to come? And it was just my brother and I at home at the time. And he said no, because that wasn't a thing to do. And obviously now I would have went. But I just knew that it was Mom was passing or had already, because I just had that feeling, and I knew before the phone rang that things were changing, but didn't understand it. So anyways, going along, I said to myself, always, if I can have kids, I want twins, boy and a girl. Even when I was young, always, I said I had twins, boys and girl, and I was blessed with twins, boy and a girl. That's all that's all the children I was able to have, and they were a boy and a girl twins, so I'm grateful for that. But I always just had faith that things would work out. And it's funny, I always told my kids, trust that you on the right path, that you're being looked after, believe if things go wrong, that things will go right. There's a reason that your path has changed. I've always been like that. Not understanding why, I was that way. So I think it was 2015. I had a cousin that took a course through a lady called Cindy Smith, and she said, "Why don't you take the course?" And I said, "No, no." And she bugged me for a while, and I kept saying no. And then finally, I decided I'd take this course. So Cindy came to Saskatoon. So I went into this place and sat down, and I started listening to the other people were there. Some was a Reiki master, some was sitting there talking about the spirit that has joined us, and they were describing the spirit because she could see it. And there was other type of people there, and there was me. I'm going, okay, don't look at me, don't talk to me, I know nothing. So anyways, that was okay. So I did the class, and Cindy would talk to me, and I'd go, yeah, okay, thanks, yeah, okay, just. So anyways, I finished. I went home so in overwhelm. Like, I think it was a total blur because I was just so nervous. So it took me a while to decide that, okay, yeah, maybe I'll do some more learning about this. So I took a Reiki course, and then I decided, okay, Cindy has another class, so I'll take another class. And then I did that, and I went, okay, I'm going to learn more about this, but only for me. Like, this is only for me, okay? So just so you know, life changes. Life changes. You have no control, because look where I am. So obviously I took more, I've learned, I've expanded, and now my passion is teaching others about this. And I'm a big believer I've always been a nature lover, and nature is a big thing for me. I've always loved growing up. We camped. I love the beach. We went to the lake. It was something that I just love to do. And now I understand why, because I connect plant, trees, and animals, and I can have communication with them. And I was channeled, downloaded from the divine, something called auric spirit, which I will talk about at one of our, at something. I will get more into discussion about the auric spirit, but that's my passion, is communicating with Mother Earth. So, everyone, we all have the abilities, it's just that we just don't understand, like you use your gut every day. And me, there was so many things I did without even understanding why I did that, why I trusted, like using all my senses all the time, using my gut, believing, having faith with the divine. And the divine can be many things. For me, I just put it out that it was the whole, like, do I believe in God and Creator? Back then, I absolutely do. I still do. I just still feel there's something that's looking after us all, and we're trusting. And I use the archangels very much now. They are part of my team and help me to communicate. I don't know what else to say, Rhonda. Like, I think that was a lot.
Oh, it was interesting. So, is there a particular archangel that you work with?
To be honest, I work with most of them. It depends on the situation is who I call with. Like, Michael's on my team, Ariel is on my team, Gabriel's on my team, Metatron is on my team. And when I mean on my team, I ask them, right, to be on my team. I use them all, like Jophiel, I use them all. It's just certain situation is when I call upon specific. Like Ariel is my specific for Mother Nature, for sure, by far. Yeah. And Gabriel for me, because she comes to me in female form. And she's my communicator to help me communicate when I do card readings, when I communicate with Mother Earth, when I plant trees or animals. She's the one that helps with that. And I mean, I talk to Metatron every day because he shields me. Michael cleans my chakras. And you know, if I have specific questions, a lot of times it's Michael. For
Right.
me or for my family, it's Michael.
Well, that's interesting. I feel like our paths are very similar, but kind of different in the same way. For myself, I have always been connected to the angels, divine, more specifically with angels. And again, where Tracy and I grew up Roman Catholic in a relatively Catholic family.
Actually,
Uh,
I'm sorry, I have to
no, that's
correct you
okay.
there. I grew up United,
Right.
and my husband is Roman Catholic, and I'm sorry to interrupt,
No,
but
that's okay.
I changed Catholic. I didn't get married Catholic. They did a special service for that, but once we were having kids, had kids, my concern was if something happened to all of us, I didn't want to be buried separately.
Mm,
So then I joined the Catholic faith and then I did catechism, I did all that. Like, and I mean, for me, this is just remember, this is me. God is wherever you are. It isn't a building, it isn't a special faith, it's where you are. And he's
exactly.
there to help us. So even if our fathers, I had special fathers and or not special, but certain fathers, and they even said to me, a church is a building. I will
Yeah.
go preach wherever you are if you want to build something else.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. But no, that was kind of similar because like I would I was babysat by my grandma quite a bit, so we would go to church almost kind of morning. She ran the Rosary Club at Holy Spirit or sorry, Holy Family in Saskatoon. So I would go quite a bit. And my kind of angel that because in catechism you do learn about angels, but not necessarily in that same directive in a way, where I always turn to Archangel Gabriel and Gabriel. What's interesting for myself, that's the one I always leaned on and still do. But and you'll notice this in the podcast quite a bit. I will get both. I will get Gabriel in one sense, and then I'll switch to Gabriel. And it all really depends on whether I need more masculine energy at that time or feminine energy. Like today, he's coming across as Gabriel. And so he was the one that kind of led me on this path of I was of kind of the spiritual realm. Like I'm sure a lot of people I went to Catholic school and I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought I was going to be a nun. And I knew I wasn't, but I was just so connected to God, Creator, however you choose to call somebody greater than yourself. But I would remember, even at a very young age, sitting in church, and as the priest is doing some of the homily, is they'll be like, well, that's not quite right. Or that's not like, so there were certain things that I'm going like, oh, okay, whatever. But but for myself, I was like, I knew I was going to teach, but not in the way I thought I was going to be a teacher, like a traditional teacher. But I was like, well, how am I going to incorporate kind of the religion aspect of it? Which I thought, okay, how is this going to work? But I still remember December 10th, 1986, and I knew it was the voice of God saying, you're not going to be a teacher in the way you think you're going to be. And I was like, yeah, right. Because that's all I ever wanted since kindergarten. was teaching. But and this is we'll probably talk about this a little bit, but this is one thing that I kind of struggle with in a sense of between free will and a predestined life. Because yes, when you do work with the angels, there's free will, but things will line up. If you're called to a greater purpose, things will line up the way they're supposed to line up. And we'll talk about like divine timing and divine knowing. I knew I had this gift at a very young age. It's just something I never really like I talked about it, but not in the sense of share. Like I would be like, well, I just remember like we'll be in religion class and all of a sudden like I'll be saying like I was almost felt like I did more of the teaching than the teachers did because I would be like, well, that's not right. So there were like little things like that that kind of came up. And like I said, I was very connected with the angels. And then we'll kind of talk. I'm not going to get into the story of how I was being guided to practice mediumship, but that's an interesting story in itself. Yeah, so for me, I just enjoyed, like I said, I was always connected where I never felt like it was weird. I knew in some ways, like a lot of people kind of looked at you a little differently, but I was always, it's kind of rooted in it's like when you know, you know, you know. So then, kind of talking about like how I came to today's presence was it was 2017, 2018. I went to the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo that was also in Saskatoon. And I went about 2 or 3 times. I was going to get a reading, but it was kind of that conflicting belief system that you don't get readings as Catholics, but I was always very intrigued and very open to it. And I was going to go to this one person, and then I enjoy listening to the talks that are at these expos. So I'm going, huh. So I came across Cindy Smith and we're talking about angels. And I'm like, that's more my thing than a traditional psychic reading, tarot reading, or whatever. So I was sitting in there and like I was finally committing, like, because this is after 3 years of going to these expos. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna actually get a reading done. And I was gonna go to one particular person, and then I heard Cindy's talk, and I'm like, oh, that's more in alignment with me. And I got a reading with Joanne, who was also a angel empowerment practitioner, and she just blew my mind. Like I'm going, oh, okay, this is how it is. But even it was weird because, and this is where when you start trusting those kind of internal outside voices, is Cindy was talking about the angel empowerment class, and I'm going, huh, that's interesting. But going, and all of a sudden I heard take time off work. And I was like, okay, I'm an educational assistant. I'm going to have the time off already. But they're like, no, from the theater. And I was like, because I also worked another job at the theater. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then I saw the price tag and I'm going, that's a little pricey for it to come up, but I heard just trust. And I'm like, okay. So totally forgot. Like this was like in April. I booked the time off of work, did the work, and then like July or June, July, like I said, I had totally forgot about this thing. Well, Cindy sent out an email saying the people that won weren't able to attend her workshop. So she kind of had a email drop. And so I responded to the email and I ended up winning the class. so within the class, like, so this for myself, this class was like life changing, change of directory, change in trajectory, and everything. So we were doing this meditation, and she was talking about like getting certified. So in the class, you have to do 20 readings to get certified as an angel empowerment practitioner. And I thought, yeah, I'm not going to get 20 people because I'm going, who's going to get a reading? One, I am ultra shy. And I was like, my family is, like, I would say, conservative Catholic. So I'm going, like, I don't know who, like, I don't know 20 people to get a reading. And then Michael said to me, he's like, if you weren't going to use this class, we wouldn't have given it to you. So that right there gave me a wake up call. And then he laid out a plan how I was going to get my 20 readings. So then it was just like, oh, okay. And like, it's just how everything kind of started coming into alignment. So that's really how I started. Like I said, I've used them every day, but when they told me they wanted me to put it out there in the world, I was like, oh, okay. And then things were like lining up like crazy. So that's kind of how I started with this.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
I'm
so
going,
then you just kept, did you take more any other classes with her, or did you any other classes about expanding your knowledge?
yes. So I took the Advanced Angel Empowerment Practitioners course. I actually won another course to become a certified medium with a different lady. And I won that course. So, like, so it
Oh,
was clearly like my team was lining things up. Like,
totally.
even my cards, like, I never owned a deck of cards, Oracle cards before. Like, for me, like, I just channeled. Like, I'll use the cards now for clients and stuff. But I always had that channeling. I'm going, okay, it doesn't make sense to me, but I'll just do it and something like that. Because I've also, the other kind of thing that went, who I connected with, like two guiding in the spiritual realm, has been Archangel Gabriel, but also Saint Bernadette. I kind of like, oh, okay, this is how it's going to be. So if I've always listened, like even when things didn't make sense in the moment, I always, not always, but majority of the time, I would take that inspired action and do things, and everything would work out. And so because I remember asking a question that, like I said, I had no intention until Michael, Archangel Michael kind of scolded me. But but like the cards, like I asked Cindy in the class, I'm going, so if one were to kind of start a business, like what decks would you recommend? And she didn't give me like decks specifically, but she said like you want a general one, you want a health one, like relationship type one. So I was like, okay. So I just so happened to have an Indigo gift card at the time I got it for Christmas. And I went and I was gonna go buy some, and I heard look online. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go look online. Well, not only was it like almost 50% cheaper than buying it in the store, but also they had a really, and I've never seen this sale since, but it was like buy three, get two free. Like,
Oh,
so I ended up getting all the cards that I kind of needed, and it cost, after my gift card, it cost me like $10. And I had
well,
like 12 decks, like, so, everything, like, But had I not listened to that voice to say, go look online,
Well, your team is on you, obviously, because look at all your classes, your cards were either a gift, were gifts, you know,
yeah,
not out of pocket. So you
yeah,
trust, you know, it's interesting how the team works. And we'll talk about when we say the team, that is in another episode,
yeah,
what we talk about, what the team means.
yeah. Yes, and that's the thing, like I said, like, and that's where, in a lot of ways, that's where I struggle between the free will and the predestined life. Because if you're opened, your life is somewhat planned for you, but you still have to make those choices to either follow or.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, for sure. I mean, that's just the way, you know, having trust, have faith, and asking. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, we both took a leap of faith of to try something new, you know, to see if it was for us. And obviously it was because we both believe it. I mean, yes, we have our own ways of doing things, but that's what being, you know, that's why people are attracted to different people for different reasons because their, you know, their outlooks are similar or whatever. So you just got to trust yourself of where you want to
yeah,
go. Like
yeah, I
Rhonda has
agree.
classes and what she teaches, you know, she has her specifics. I have my specifics, even though we all have the same belief system.
That's exactly it. And that's when if you are trying to seek somebody out, you want to make sure that you're in alignment as well with them. You
Yes.
know, so there shouldn't ever be any pressure for you to go and see someone in a sense of you need to see me or you need to like it you follow your gut and going and everything. Like where the pressure might you feel like coming is maybe from your angel team or divine team. They'll start with whispers, but you can and will get the brick if you're not paying attention. And what I mean by that is those little obstacles often are ways of communication that your angels will do. And a lot of times, in my experience anyway, the angels will create situations for you to push you outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's part of growing.
Yeah. It's all a learning process to trust yourself and understand the difference of your ego, of your team, you know, and like Rhonda says, trusting the person that you're going to do something with. You've got to be comfortable. And like she says, you know, they're not going to be asking for money for like silly things, you know. So just trust your gut of who tells you to trust them. If you feel uncomfortable, then it's move on.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I agree.
Okay. So that is, I believe, our part of our intro. I mean, we'll always be
Yes.
talking more in each of our podcasts. Things will just pop in of that happen to us all the time.
Yep.
We'll always give examples of things that happened that I am always in awe of things that happen, whether I give a reading or it happens to me. I'm always in awe that, wow, that just happened, or
Yeah.
I can't make that up, you know?
Yeah.
So it's,
Yes.
it's awesome.
Yeah. And that's the plan is kind of introduce you to various archangels or divine, as well as sharing our own experiences. And the reason for that is to just for you to start being aware of what's happening in your life and how the team connects with you.
Yeah, and if you have a question, you know, send us a message. You know, maybe you want to know something on an episode, thinks we should do something about a special episode. Let us know. We're open to try different things. So thanks for listening to our very first podcast with Rhonda and Tracy.
Yes, take care, everybody. Bye.
Okay, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Divine Dialogues, Intuitives Unveiled. If you would like to work with Tracy and Rhonda, our information is posted in the show notes.
Now, our new episodes are going to fall on Tuesdays. So if you're interested in receiving a free meditation on connecting to your guardian angels, click that link below to subscribe to the Angel Empowerment Wellness Center newsletter. Thanks for joining us.
Take care.